check. This is John Brown. 1, 2. Hey, what's up? How am I sounding? All right.
I can't remember who came up with that name.
Thanks, man.
We just started calling it that because it needed a name. And then I found out when I went to go post it on iTunes, there's like 20 other wheel podcasts. None of them have anything to do with wheels. So like the gun wheel, and they don't mean anything.
I'm just making sure my phone is off.
Yeah, I probably should too. Huh? Yeah.
I'm in Facebook jail right now.
Oh, you said some shit that was.
Well, there's a group that I'm a part of that the whole point of the group is to post like offensive shit that.
What's it called?
What is it? There's like 3 of them. But
I'm in anti-social justice, and then so I said, "Man, these people are bitches," and I was like, "Man, you said, can't log on."
Fighting going on in there.
Everyone's being a bitch. I don't even go on there no more because I went on there when I was like first. You know, you get it. You get it.
Well, the thing I posted was a screen grab from porn, and it's obvious what's going on, but there's no actual nudity in the picture.
It's obvious what's going on. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, what was going on?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. We're not recording right now, are we?
Yeah, just started.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe it.
Well, it's a blowjob happening in the picture. And it's basically just the girl's face is mashed into the guy's pubes, and you can't really see anything but pubes.
But there was a mouth.
Oh yeah, her mouth's wide open, her throat's all bulging out and shit. It's pretty graphic. I'm not gonna say it's not. I could show it to you.
There's no actual penis, but
right.
You know it's in there.
I mean, it's
She's
there,
the
but it's not visible in the picture. Yeah.
So wait, how does that go back to the group?
Well, I posted it on this group, and I just put the caption "life." Like, this is what life does to you. Fucks you in the throat. and it got, I don't know if some Facebook algorithm grabbed it or somebody reported it or what, but
just like a dick innuendo software.
Yeah. I'm banned from posting on Facebook for 3 days.
That's
so
a standard.
I won't get to share the podcast.
No.
When is it?
I don't think I'll drop it till like next week, probably.
Oh, there you go.
Because I've got a little bit of a backlog being released, so
right.
You'll be out of purgatory by then.
You'll be out of purgatory.
Yeah, I'll let you know when I'm free, so I'll tweet it out.
Out of Shawshank.
I'm out of Facebook jail, everybody. It's gonna be really hard not to stare at myself the whole time.
Do it. You have to stare at yourself.
Do it if you need to.
That's me,
Don't
right?
worry about me. Worry
Right
about John.
there.
Yeah, you're in. Can you see yourself?
Yeah, it's fine. I'll do this and get.
Yeah.
You're gonna give away his position.
Okay, wait.
That's
now we're all
Marco.
just looking at ourselves on a
Look at John.
camera. Yeah. Anyway,
Johnsky.
so social media jail.
At just Facebook at the moment.
Facebook.
I've actually done a good job of staying out of trouble on Facebook lately. That was just a little bit of mischief.
Wait, do you have a Twitter account?
Yes.
You want me to put on here?
Sure.
Yeah, Twitter handle.
It's at John Brown Joker.
You know, Andrew has Joker something.
Yeah, I was a little upset when I saw it.
When you saw that,
Yeah.
Because I was wondering if that's like, comics put that in their name, or if that was just like an Andrew.
Well, I
And
wouldn't
you think-
have a Twitter handle if I wasn't doing comedy.
Yeah.
I very rarely do I ever use it,
Mm-hmm.
but every once in a while. So there it is.
Yeah. I would probably like completely off social media if I didn't have to do it for stand up.
Right.
Like you have to connect with people. So I use Twitter like it's a game or something.
Like it's a game.
Yeah, like it's a game I have to play every day and beat a little bit.
Right.
So I get a couple followers and whatnot. Like if I'm gonna have it, even though I don't want it, like I have to win. I have to beat it.
I think I'm just too old for it. It's like a nuisance that I'm impatient for. If I see that I have a notification or something like that. Twitter. It constantly advertises to me. It constantly shows me, because I'm hardly ever on it, so I always get like in case you missed it, like large sections of in case you missed it, and it's all shit that's like 6 or 7 days old
that you would have liked to miss. Yeah.
So I want to see the latest shit, and most of the time I'm not seeing that, and I don't care enough to get in and see if I can change my settings or whatever. So I just don't really get on Twitter that much.
Yeah, I feel like you should be allowed to miss things.
Leave me alone.
And stuff to If I missed it, then I didn't care. I didn't care enough to try and see it the first time.
So trying to remind me of shit, Facebook.
Yeah. My friend was like, it's the last season or whatever of Game of Thrones next year. And I was like, well, still not watching it. I haven't seen it up to this point, so I'm gonna count that as missed.
Oh, you're not a Game of Thrones guy?
No, I just never.
Are you a Game of Thrones guy?
I want to be.
Dude,
I want to be cool.
It's ramped up this season. It's been good. Charlie McMullen was sitting in my apartment while I was watching one of the episodes, and I was losing my shit. I was like, dude, you have no idea how big a deal this is. There's some fucking climactic battle that you've been waiting the whole series for, and Charlie just happened to be at my place.
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind like I'm watching the Super Bowl. Like, oh shit, she brought the dragon.
Standing up.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Chips falling out of your fucking lap.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Sloshing beer everywhere. Yeah, dude.
Punching.
It's good stuff. I watched the leaked episode last night. They leaked like next Sunday's episode.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Who's they?
Big deal.
You fucked yourself because now you got to wait 2 weeks.
That's right.
You got to hope that they leak the
like
next
10
one.
days or so.
Oh, no,
3 days.
Well, HBO fucked up. Their streaming service in Europe or whatever, they played 2 episodes back to back. So it played the new episode and then it played next week's episode. And thousands of people just grabbed it and put it out online. So really easy to get. And I didn't have any moral qualms about watching it because HBO fucked it up. So it wasn't like some hacker group stole it and, held it for ransom or anything.
HBO Mission Command.
Oh, yeah. People got fired over that shit.
Some guy with 2 mouses.
I'm sure.
2 mice. This is why I fuck shit up.
Yeah, he's 2 mice.
Yeah, whoever did that got punished. I don't know though, man. I mean, it generated a lot of press for the show, so no such thing as bad publicity, right?
What if they just gave the drug addicts what they wanted?
All right. You got all introspective there for a second.
Is there a part 2 to the plan?
No, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just
give drugs to everyone and then fight is the next part. And then whoever is still standing will rebuild society anew.
My dad is convinced that the Mexican government put rubbing alcohol out in the public in order to get rid of bums because they knew they'd drink it.
Really?
That's what he thinks. Like he thinks, because they knew they would, because they'd drink it because it's alcohol, but you're not supposed to drink it. But they knew it.
That's why they put alcohol right in the name. Crazy.
He's convinced of it.
I have only ever used that for rubbing. So it has another function besides drinking and dying.
Antiseptic, man. It's got antiseptic. One time when I was a kid, my mom was cleaning. I cut myself or something, and she dumped a whole bottle of rubbing alcohol right in my lap, and it was burning my sensitive little balls and stuff. And I remember standing in front of the air conditioner, just letting it. She's like, "It'll evaporate. You're fine." I've got a towel. I'm naked, standing in front of the air conditioner, blowing, and it stung really bad. It was fucked up.
Gosh.
So now when I smell it, my balls shrivel up a little bit.
I got that Pavlov, except you don't drool. Just kind of. I have a question.
Sure.
We were talking about conspiracy theories earlier.
Yeah.
Which ones do you think are horseshit, and which ones do you think are probably kind of true?
Ooh, okay.
I think anything supernatural is horseshit. Everything else is like question mark.
So I would go so far as to say that whether or not there's like a satanic ruling elite over us, there definitely is a ruling elite. And they definitely do weird ritualistic shit.
Like Bill Burr style, like fuck with goat heads on?
Yeah. Like, what's that? Bohemian Grove and Skull and Bones and all that stuff. There's a leaked video of a Skull and Bones ritual. It's fucking crazy, dude. It's like some horror movie shit.
Moloch, the owl god or whatever.
Right. So that stuff, like, I kind of get with that stuff, but not too. But I do believe for sure that there is like an upper crust of like elites that make all the decisions. I do believe that.
That's not just Congress; it's something else.
No, it's like corporate interests, like real deep old money bank shit.
Ah,
Well, here's something I thought is someone was telling me that they brief the president. Like the president comes in and sits down, and then they fill his head full of like all the shit they can't tell the people. And it's like probably where he finds out about aliens. And I was like, wait, who is that guy who comes in and already knows all the things that the president doesn't know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's somebody that I definitely think at some point they have a meeting with the president, be like, look, now, but once they get to that level where they're already
I gotta tell
president,
you
they're
about
kind of
this.
already inside that,
Uh-huh.
Circle anyway. So it's just a matter of like initiation and climbing the ladder,
All right. So aliens. All right, you're gonna. I gotta tell you about this before you find out for yourself.
Okay.
No. That's what they tell the president. Like,
So they tell the president.
I gotta tell you about this because you're gonna find out for someone else.
That's one of the things that I really liked about Independence Day when they were like, all right, Mr. President, here comes some shit. And they like open up the new bunker and he's like, what the hell is all this? How come you, and it's like real aliens and stuff. And the president didn't know. I kind of think that that's possible. Like there's some old, CIA shit from the 50s that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
Except for like 5 old dudes.
Yeah.
I definitely, the thing is I went real deep for a while. I went real deep and to the point where I kind of drove myself a little bit crazy and I had to pull myself out of it. And the whole thing was, I just kind of decided like, yeah, there's fucked up, corrupt shit happening and there's no way to ever know the whole truth. So why keep digging? Why keep driving myself crazy? And I kind of just like backed up. And now that I'm kind of aware of that stuff, whenever there's an event like the Orlando shooting, the nightclub shooting, the second I found out about that, I got on YouTube and I searched for Pulse nightclub hoax. And there was already 50 videos. I mean, it was the day after the thing happened. And there's already 50 videos about crisis actors and, why was the UN there and who's this guy and just all these conspiracy. And it kind of grosses me out. It becomes like an identity that people want to have.
Yeah.
Rather than actually trying to learn something about the world. They're just like, this is my image now. And that's what,
Yeah.
And I also think that Christians have taken over all the good conspiracy videos online. So I lost my taste for it because every good conspiracy video now has a bunch of Bible verses in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've ruined it with wholesome religion.
Yeah, god damn it.
I wonder what happens. I wonder what happens to you psychologically to become the kind of person who, like, no matter what it is, you're like, bullshit. I don't believe it for 1 second. It's a hoax. Like, just came across, like, Barcelona car drives through and like, nope, it didn't happen. I don't know how. I don't know why, but it didn't.
Or it's a false flag, or that whoever did it was a government issued truck, and Obama had prior knowledge.
George Bush and O.J. Simpson were in that truck. I tell you, Black helicopters.
But I think it got fucked up because there was definitely a lot of shady shit around 9/11. And for a minute there, it was like, are we going to get a new investigation into this or what? Because 9/11 Truth was a huge movement for a while. And then it just, more and more, you just kept seeing it getting ridiculed.
There was just a lot of horse shit arguments around legitimate ones.
Yeah, they started throwing in a lot of weird arguments about like it's a holographic plane and all this stupid shit to muddy the waters, just like we were talking about out there. It's just kind of.
And I bet you it was just assholes trying to get their word in. I have a whole new paradigm of conspiracy.
Right, and it became like, oh, here's a new thing you've never heard. We've got 2 frames of video never before seen, and it was like they started picking at the minutia of it, and it got really stupid after a while. When there's plenty of stuff there where you can go, why was there concrete shooting out of the building, 30 stories down before the plane even hit?
Who's that guy with the cape?
Yeah.
Oh man.
But I think there's enough that the questions are valuable. I'm definitely not I guess I just keep it to myself.
You're not
like
that Alex Jones guy, but
no, and honestly, I
those
listened to
thoughts come in.
I listened to Alex Jones pretty religiously for a while,
Mhm.
and now he's like a weird, embarrassing cartoon character of what he used to be. Because he used to be a lot more. I don't want to say even tone, because he would freak out and start screaming about shit. But like John Oliver just did that piece on him where he's like selling his products and everything. He didn't used to do that. He didn't used to have like a whole product line, which is where he got most of his revenue from.
Yeah.
It used to be just like exposing shit. Like he was really presenting information and
he's
stuff.
Running around with a camera where he shouldn't be.
Screaming at the Bilderberg group and stuff like I was into that stuff. Like, fucking get those assholes. But now it's a different thing. It's a different weird cartoon version of it.
I think there's a line between skepticism and healthy skepticism and just being a dickhead. Like to me, it's like Bigfoot, like the religion of Bigfoot. Like, what's the point? Are you gonna, hey man, Bigfoot's real, and I found a hair in this footprint. All right, cool, I believe you. What do we do now? We tell that guy. And what happens when we convince him? We have a meeting, and then now we convince that guy. Like, oh fuck, I don't want to do that
give
forever.
A presentation at this convention where it's a bunch of weirdos who all believe in Bigfoot. But imagine how stupid you feel the moment you sit down and you go, maybe all this Bigfoot stuff that I've devoted the last 10 years of my life to is all bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
And I've just wasted
And even if it's real, even if you're truly convinced, like, fuck, this motherfucker's walking around butt naked.
Right.
In people's yards. And we gotta let the world know, because this is for some reason important. Even if you do, like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I think we got bigger fish to fry than Bigfoot right now. If Bigfoot showed up, I don't think it would be that big of a deal.
hey, Philip, I knew it. See, I was right.
If a guy drug a Bigfoot carcass out of the woods right now...
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, he would get a lot of hate. People would shit on him online a lot. Like, how dare you? He'd get a lot of death threats and shit.
You killed the only Bigfoot.
Kill that majestic creature. But that's about it. That would die down after about a week, and then the Bigfoot thing would be over.
Yeah. Like, he was real. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Every time Bigfoot comes up, I remember this stupid video that was shot in my old hometown in Washington, up in the Pacific Northwest. It was like on the outskirts. This guy was living in like some shithole shack, and he said he saw Bigfoot, like came up and tapped on his back window, and then ran off. And the news was interviewing him, and he says, "Hey, Bigfoot came up, tapped on my back window, pointed at me, and he ran off into the brush. He had beautiful hair." Think of that. Every time Bigfoot comes up, he had beautiful hair.
Well, and up there is what we're talking about. Bigfoot is like a part of the culture. There's people who've devoted their whole lives to the existence of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So they're not going to give that up.
No. After 10 years, that's got to be sacrosanct, because it's just...
like fly fishing, man. Let's
That's
do
all
it.
I have.
Where you going? Let's go Bigfooting.
If there's no Bigfoot, then there's no me. There has to be.
Yeah.
I'll disappear like
Big
Marty
feet.
McFly.
Right? Just start to fade out. No. I don't know, but see, like even with Bigfoot, I can wrap my head around the idea that there's some undiscovered animal out there. And maybe there's only a few, because we discover new animals all the time. And but then when you start talking about how they're interdimensional creatures that can teleport and stuff like that, now you're getting into crazy town, and I can't go with you.
Hey, you know what? There probably are. Again, who gives a shit?
Right. Or maybe it's just an unhealthy bear with the mange or something. You know?
That bear that walks around on like the hind legs.
Yeah.
That bear thinks it's a person.
Well, I've seen videos of that, like a grizzly bear or a black bear or something walking on its hind legs through somebody's backyard.
Trying to figure it out. Like, these guys seem to be having a good time with this. Let me give it a shot.
Or maybe he's injured. I mean, they are capable of moving around like that. So
fuck up your front paw. How else do you get around?
You walk around like a dude.
I know. I'm not gonna ask him. Fuck that.
I remember when I used to do acid all the time. I spent like a year.
Acid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude,
you said that quickly and definitely said you said like
you said it not like acid. You said it something in a way that I wouldn't.
Acids.
No, it sounded like you said I used to do ass all the time.
I used to do ass all the time. Well, when you're on ass for a year straight.
Sort of
I went in, before I started doing acid, I was like into conspiracy theories a lot too, and all the quantum physics says the fabric of reality. We're in the Matrix.
Right.
And then I did acid. And afterwards I came out like, I should get a job. Like it did the opposite to me.
It straightened you out.
Yeah, it turns out I can't do nothing about that.
Yeah.
And even if the fabric of reality is always falling apart, like, we should still probably have a job till it does.
Yeah, well, I 100%, dude, because I got into that simulation theory. Like, that shit was blowing my mind for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of realized, well, if that's the case, if I'm in a video game, maybe I should try to be better at the video game.
Try and play the fuck out of this video game.
Yeah, right. I mean, if that's the case, then fucking go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's a Grand Theft Auto, you still got to steal cars.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I told that to a buddy of mine once where he's like, I'm only good at video games, not good at the rest of life. And I was like, just think of life like your video game. He was like, immediately figured out how to make money. Like, he's like, automatically. Like, before, it was just, money was just this thing to keep him alive and sheltered while he played video games.
Yeah.
Then when he started looking at that, it's like his savings just went crazy through the roof, and he bought a car, like, because he knows how to like hoard gold.
Right.
He's worked on that skill.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what I do is I go to the poor part of town and I kick chickens, and then I pick up the chickens and I sell them to the to the market.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a game specifically where
Where you go? Where you at? I'm farming gold. You mean working at McDonald's? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember a game where you like all of your actions were either like you got good points or evil points, and it would Fable.
Fable.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great
And,
fucking game. God.
Yeah, I lost so many hours of my life in that game. But I thought it was hilarious to kick chickens, but every time you kicked a chicken, you got like one evil point because it was a shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
And my guy was totally evil by the end of the game because I was told
You probably did a lot of good missions
everything
too.
right.
I did all the
Kicking
evil
chickens.
I went through the whole game picking every evil option I could to see what would happen.
You had the fucking horns and everything.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah. I remember when that game came out, and I had a buddy who got it, and he found some like magic item, this robe you put on, and you're immediately 100% good, like no matter what you've done. And he was like, "So I don't give a shit. You play it for a couple hours, do whatever you want. Doesn't matter to my character." Like, okay. So then I just played straight through the night while he went to bed and woke up, and he was like, "I want to see what you did." So he took off the robe and just like tiny horns, like, "Phew." I was like, "What the fuck are you doing all night?" It's like just working some shit out, man.
I was raping these wenches. See that big pile of wenches back there?
Mangled bottle, a pile of limbs.
Just doing something needed to be done.
No, man, I did that to a buddy of mine way back in the early 90s. I was staying at his house and I was playing. It was Evander Holyfield's boxing. It was one of the first boxing games where you could build a career.
Oh
You,
shit!
like,
Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
I played the guy's boxer, and I didn't know how to play the game, so I lost a bunch of fights, and it fucked up his whole character. And we almost got into a fist fight the next morning.
Oh, I'm thinking of Greatest Heavyweights. But yeah.
It was one. I don't know. It was one of those old school games.
Mm-hmm. Mike Tyson's Punch Out still haunts me to this day.
Is that why you fought? Is that why you fight now? Because Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson.
Think about that shit, don't you?
Dude, that dude.
Fucking Flamenco Joe.
Cause I was a little dude. Flamingo, yeah, that's right. Flamingo.
Was it Flamingo?
It was the Flamingo something or other.
Flamingo Kid.
I don't know.
Who gives a shit?
Some dude. All I know is he'd fuck me up. It all fucked me up. And then Mike Tyson would. Remember one time I played. Mike Tyson. He'd hit you in an uppercut like this, and it would kill you. And he'd do this.
That's right. Yeah.
Wink and flex with that same fist that he punched you out with.
Yeah.
It was so embarrassing. Like, this is bullshit.
I remember that. Jesus, Mike Tyson was a god back then.
He was unbeatable. He was the epitome of he was doomsday.
Then we find out as adults that he was coked up and raping chicks the whole time.
Rape always seems to make its way into people's legacies these days.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was a time when it was not
Cool.
frowned upon as much as it is now.
Straight
At
up
least-
cool, bro.
At least on
Straight
our
up cool.
on our side of the aisle.
Yeah.
Being a man. Yeah, high five.
Yeah, that's not so cool anymore.
No,
Boy.
back in the day. You guys remember rape when that was a thing to do? Well,
here we sit laughing about it and reminiscing wistfully. The good old days when we could get away with anything.
get away with the rape.
No, it's weird now, man.
Mhm.
The whole rape thing is it's tricky because I have a joke in my set where I talk about being a man today and what it's like for women to think you're a creep,
Mhm.
and you can't get it out of their head. Once they think you might rape them, you can't like convince
Can't
them otherwise.
Yeah, you can't.
Like once they think that, it's over. You're done. And I started talking about that at Mutiny in Denver, and a lady in the crowd hissed at me. Like I just said the word rape, and I heard,
What, like Voldemort
Yeah,
hissed at
dude.
you?
yeah, it was so weird. And then the whole room got uncomfortable because
Yeah.
one person was offended, so the whole room got like, "Ooh, what do we do?"
Yeah, yeah.
And so it fucked up my whole
Whose
set.
side do we
stupid bitch.
take?
But yeah, it was weird, man.
Do we have fun or do we condone rape?
Yeah,
like God forbid this man talk about his perspective on the issue.
Yeah.
You know, it was fucked up, man. It was weird.
Yeah. I used to tell a story on stage about when I was in high school, and what is it? I got the shit kicked out of me by this dude, and then at the end when he was like still kicking me in the ribs, he said, "God doesn't listen to fags."
Right.
And I told that story on stage, and a woman came up to me after, was like, "You can't say that word." I was like, "What? Why not?" She was like,
you.
"You don't know the things that have happened when people call other people that word. Like people have been beaten
I know
that
one
word." I was
thing
like,
that
"Are you
happened-
hating?" Yeah.
Jesus
Are
Christ.
you even listening to me?
Yeah,
Did you hear
man.
any of that, or did you just white out the whole set and then come in for that word and then go back? Facts.
I have a similar story, man. There's a few jokes that I can't like. They were fine a year ago, and now they don't land. Like I used to talk about. I played football in the '90s. I played high school football in the '90s. I'll put the number of times I've been called a fag up against any gay man in this country. Like it was pervasive and constant, and like for me, the worry was like not so deep that I started to question, well, am I a fag? Like, am I gay? Like, are they right? It didn't go that far for me, but it was like you had to maintain the perception of like, definitely not. Well, fuck you, you know? And so to a certain extent, you have to play that game. You know, you got to throw it back at him or whatever. And my thing was always like, there was this guy, Fat Pete. I talk about him all the time. And one time he ran up to me in the shower and fucking slapped me in the thigh with his dick.
That's hilarious. That's almost that's genius even.
Right. Yeah, he was definitely a savant level. When it comes to that,
it's hilarious. All right, so I must have took like a round table of minds.
Yeah.
Well, and immediately he was like, you touched my dick, fag. And I was like,
oh, the logic
you just
is sound.
sexually assaulted me in the shower. I think you've got something you need to work out. Like that was always kind of the comeback with it. And there was definitely like some alpha male, like, I'll fuck you up, fag, pussy, whatever. And there was a lot of that, but I don't know, man. I never put it towards like, I don't like gay people. I never went after somebody because they were gay, but I definitely called my friends fag. And I totally up until the last couple of years when it became really like forbidden to even say it. I feel a little nervous saying it so many times tonight that we're going to catch a lot of hate, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know what your viewership is, but
I have a theory on that. I think it has nothing to do with being gay. It has something to do with you being not manly, like feminine.
Right.
It's not that being feminine is bad, but the fact that you're not manly, the fact that you're not a dude, makes you weak.
Right.
So,
and in the interim, I've met plenty of gay guys that are dudes. Like I've met some gay guys that are probably more manly than I am. And I'll tell you what really knocked me into shape was finding out that my sister was gay. And I found out by witnessing her kissing another woman. Like I had no idea. And I lived across the apartment complex from this girl that we worked with, and everybody knew she was gay. And I come home with the groceries, and I open up my balcony. I was like, "Hey, Melinda's home," and I waved. She didn't see me. I go, hey, my sister's at Melinda's house. Holy shit, my sister and Melinda are kissing each other, you know? So that's how I found out that she was gay. And I responded by making jokes. I just started teasing her about it, you know? And it was like, I'm going to tell dad, you know, shit like that.
Tell dad you're gay as fuck.
Yeah. And then I get online and I'll text her a lesbian joke every once in a while, you know? What do you call an open can of tuna in a lesbian's house? Potpourri, you know, shit like that. And that's like, we laughed about it, and she's she's not like an activist or anything. She doesn't she's married, they have a house, she wants to be left alone. And that's, you know, and it really didn't like, my dad freaked out about it a little bit. Yeah. But for the most part, like, the kids are better off, everybody's happy. It's been a thing in the family for going on 20 years now. So it's like not even a thing really. Yeah. And it never really was, you know. Her husband, before she got with this girl, was a total piece of shit. And so as far as like her happiness and the kids being taken care of, she's way better off now. Oh, yeah. And beyond that, you know, who my sister fucks is none of my business, you know? So yeah, there's just less of a chance of me punching somebody in the face if they don't treat her right.
I think, yeah, like, not about word fag is a fag. Right. I was telling Nyland the other day, like, back in the day, Thebians back in Alexander the Great days, those greatest warriors were like 140 gay couples. Right. That was their elite force. And so then they were honored because they sacrificed family in order to live a life of warriorship. And they were gay as fuck. And they were the greatest warriors in Thebes. And so I think it's not about being homosexual. It's about being feminine. And that's what's bad, because you're not fulfilling your survival role as a man. Because if you're not being masculine, you could threaten the lives of everyone in the tribe. Yeah.
And that idea is even now kind of considered antiquated. Is kind of what we were talking about before. It is antiquated, where the idea of equating femininity with weakness is one of the worst possible things you could say about women. You know,
not about women; it's about men being feminine. I think that's where it's at. That's what. Yeah, and that old instinct is still with us.
But how offended do women get when you start to make fun of a feminine man for being feminine?
Because I think that they're, in their mind, they're justifiably offended, and I understand, but what the context is off. For example, if a man who should be masculine in a situation where they need masculinity to survive is feminine, they are threatening the lives of the tribe. Right. Because you need femininity in the village where you can cultivate, you know, cooperation and whatnot. Now, today, there is no war to fight. Femininity is good. In fact, we need it. So, but we still have that.
Yeah, that's the struggle. I mean, we still have the old ways like built into our bones. And it's almost like I equate it to when I was married and I went to marriage counseling. It seemed like, and I went through 3 or 4 different levels of counseling with different counselors and different programs and stuff, trying to keep my marriage together. And it seemed like it ended up being like the running theme was basically everything that she did was just like a part of being a woman, and I had to learn to accept it and adjust to it. And manage it. But then when it came to shit that I was doing, it was like, you got to change that. And there was no requirement for her to accommodate me. It was all about like making me submit to what she had going on. And so our marriage failed. Yeah, see? No. Because, I almost went across the room at a guy because I brought that up and he said to me, well, maybe you should have married a man. And I was like, what the fuck did I just pay you to say to me? You know, and that was the last time we went to that marriage counselor, because there's a double standard, and if you say that there isn't, you're not paying fucking attention. You know, my girlfriend and I had a discussion about the Wonder Woman movie, because when that thing was coming out, I was excited to take her to it because she's been a Wonder Woman fan her whole life, and she was excited about the movie. I'm all about the, you know, female empowerment aspect of it and all of that.
And not just that, it's just a popular character in the comics.
Sure. I'm a fan of Wonder Woman. Like, I love Wonder Woman just as much as, I wouldn't say as much as she does, but whatever. But then it came up, the Alamo Drafthouse did a women's only screening where marketing, dude, marketing. And then it immediately became Alamo Drafthouse is doing this female only screening. Look at all these bigots who are pissed off about it. And it became a marketing strategy to drive, awareness of the movie. And she says, I bet you're pissed off about that female only screening, aren't you? And I said, yes, but not for the reasons you probably think I am, because I'm all about, like, here's number one. I don't think people looked into it deeply enough, because not only did Alamo Drafthouse only sell tickets to women, they also told their male employees that they couldn't work that night. And that's where if I was working there, I would have fucking been all over. I would have made all kinds of noise, because you can't tell somebody that they can't go to work because of their gender. You simply cannot. And a lot of the equality rules and stuff that are in place are there because of that. So they did that. And then also, I'm totally against the idea of using somebody's social ideology as a way to manipulate them into buying a ticket to your movie. Because now it's not just going to the movie and having a good time. Now you're supporting a cause. Yeah. And look how that worked out for the Ghostbusters movie. When they tried to put it around this piece of trash, garbage, piece of shit movie, they fucked it up,
Yeah. And they're trying to hide the fact that this is it's only riding on one all-female gimmick. That was it. That was all of it.
Yeah.
100%. And it fucking fumbled. They're like, oh, that's all we had, huh? Fuck.
Well, and nobody can tell me that my criticism of the Ghostbusters movie is because I don't like women, because when I heard I was pissed off that they were remaking Ghostbusters and that it wasn't going to be a sequel. But then when I found out who the cast was, I got excited about it because I like Melissa McCarthy. I like Kristen Wiig. I kind of like the weird chick. Can't think of her name. And I didn't really know who Leslie Jones was. But when I knew that Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig were in it, I got a little bit of hope. And then I saw the controversy and it was like, oh shit. And then all the female Denver comics dressed up like Ghostbusters and went down to the draft house and took pictures with people and stuff. And it was like, I'm keeping my opinions fucking out of this, because I want to get booked on shows, and you don't want to be the guy like, oh man, there's some Facebook drama going on in the scene right now.
This is no longer about a good movie. This is about novelty.
What side of the aisle are you on? Yeah. That's what it's. Whose team are you on? That's what it's about. And that's what pisses me off, because they're stoking civil unrest. They're playing people against each other to sell their stupid movie, and the end result of that shit is people driving cars into crowds at protests. I mean, they're just stoking the fire. They're pouring gas on the fire.
Yeah. Make it turn a buck. I think you're onto something. I think that goes way deeper than just busters. Like, Facebook makes its money off of sharing and liking videos. Yeah. And by far, without question, the most shared, liked, and viewed videos are political and social controversy.
Yep.
That's what makes money. That's what sells ad space.
And that's the kind of and that's what I think that got Donald Trump elected, because I don't think people understand that when you don't like something and you talk about it all the time on Facebook, like Miley Cyrus is a good example. Miley Cyrus was huge because people didn't like her. I mean, she was everywhere because people were constantly shitting on her. And I don't think they understand that, good or bad, engaging and giving attention to something makes it more famous. Whether you're criticizing it or praising it, doesn't matter anymore. If you're clicking on it, if you're sharing on it, like somebody shared an article and it was like, look at this garbage, look at this racist hatred garbage, and it was about the girl that got killed in Charlottesville, and it was like, she was a fat slut, I'm glad she's dead, and that was the article. And I was like, that was the fucking article that this guy shared. And I'm like, why?
That was the article.
Why would you share that? Why? Just to show everybody how horrible everything? Like, what?
How horrible some people can be?
You gave it power by spreading it around.
Great. Now you started a fucking club.
Yeah.
God damn you.
There's a reason why they call that stuff viral. It's not good for us.
Yeah. People love that shit. And then we got fucking CRISPR technology, which is going to revolutionize the species. and it has 73 views on YouTube.
Yeah, right. I mean, stuff that could actually do some good for mankind, eliminate
Not
disease
some.
and stuff.
Yeah, eliminate all genetic disease and create
It'd be like
designer
immortal
babies
super beings.
within 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's that important and that powerful, and no one gives a fuck because they'd rather fucking jack off to how much they hate the other side.
Well, I think we're in line for a mass die-off of stupid people. I think there's going to be...
We have to force the function with CRISPR. CRISPR. That's what I'm talking about.
Right. Hashtag CRISPR. Spread the word.
My babies are going to be fucking smart as shit.
Yeah.
No, man, rich people's baby. You're not rich enough for that shit. To go in there, you want blue eyes? That's $100,000.
Only one of us. One of us here is going to be a colonel.
Okay, well, I won't have access to that technology, which is why I decided long ago not to have any children.
What if you go into the CRISPR baby factory and there's like a bunch of feminist protests right outside? They're like, "Are you having a boy?" And you're like,
Is it?
His face.
Are you gonna make him a gay boy?
His face. You're gonna have a boy. His face went like this. What do I do? What do I fuck do I do? Are you gonna kill me if I say yes? Or?
You're probably right about that. But then at that point, if we're just genetically creating children, then sexual reproduction will be obsolete, and it'll be...
The fuck it is. They said that when we made robots. Okay, I have a theory. Okay, you have sex robots, all right? So sex robots, women are... There's some women who don't like sex robots because they think it'll replace women. Impossible. It won't replace women. It'll replace masturbation. And people will think it'll replace women because right now there's no evidence for masturbation besides the wadded up napkins we throw in the trash. But now that we have sex robots, though, no one can ignore the piles of discarded jizz covered robots in our backyards. So we'll fuck as much as we can, real people. But when
those
we can't,
things aren't disposable, dude. They're like $25,000 a piece.
Well, when you make ubu cash, no.
Somebody's gonna be a colonel.
No, seriously, it will replace masturbation. Because if you're fucking a robot and some human woman knocks on your door, you're gonna, all right, let me just put this robot to the side for a minute or two.
Yeah.
Fuck her, and then back to the robot. Because just like you would with your hand. I do.
I don't know, man. I think we would lose a lot of dudes to just like they would give up on the stress of dealing with a.
That's already happening, brother.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of that. I struggle every day not to become one of those guys. Like, screw it. They're not looking at me anyway. Might as well do some weird shit.
Just lock all the doors.
The older I get, I'm like, fuck it. My fuck it gets bigger and bigger.
It's getting less important.
Turn the blinds so no one will see me love myself.
See, that's a grandiose term to use in yourself. Disgrace would have been a better, more accurate. But
talking about like designer babies, though, how long will that list be of different things you can get by the time that comes out? Because there's like 10 new terms of something added every day. Like how many genders there are if you get to pick. Dude. Like, can I make a foxkin baby?
You absolutely could, guaranteed. It's gonna be real quick. Things are gonna get weird.
How quickly is someone gonna go in there and be like, I want a non-gender specific baby?
Pretty soon.
The doctor's like, it's gotta have something.
All right, I could just no dick. All right, and just take out the X and the Y chromosome.
Yeah.
And then there'll be actual foxkin babies, and then they'll be offended by the people who identify as foxkin and appropriating their culture.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
If you're
born
I hope
I
half
die before
eunuch, half
because
fox.
my brain, I can't wrap my head around. Like, whatever, man, do you? But
come on.
And it starts getting into my life, and I got to start figuring out like the correct way to navigate talking to somebody so that I'm not like a piece of shit because I said the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It's not like I'm not willing to do it. I just can't keep up with it. The same thing like Twitter and Instagram and stuff. I can't keep up with it. It's too much all at once. It just comes too fast.
Yeah. Now I have a guy in my family that I talk to occasionally, and he's very, very far right. And we'll talk about things, and I enjoy our conversations because they can go to a very dumb place very quickly. But every once in a while, he'll bring something up, and he said, like, white men are being attacked in America. And I was like, I don't understand how that is. And he says, he goes, how come anyone who can change their gender to what they feel on the inside and change, apparently now they're transracial too. Like you can change anything you want, depending on how you feel. How come no one feels like a white man? And I was like, yeah, I haven't heard anything. It's all like foxes and laptops. And
Yeah, I don't think that transracial thing is taking off yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's
There's
taking
really
off.
just the one lady.
Like I said, those conversations go pretty dumb pretty fast.
Yeah.
Transracial.
And I've seen a lot more like trans age people saying I identify
I
as
saw that one.
8-year-old girl and stuff like that.
I saw a few of those, yeah.
I've seen more of that than people trying to say that they're transracial. I've seen a lot of white people who are stepping over some lines and should probably take it back a couple notches, but they're not like I am black, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's a weird thing. I'm just kind of like, it's a strange time in the world to be a white guy because whether we're being outwardly attacked or not, there definitely is like a, hey, sit down and shut the fuck up, straight white guy. Check your privilege. You're the bad guy, you know? And then when you say anything about that, like, hey, I'm just trying to mind my own business and go to work, you know? Well, at least you have a job. You don't know what it's like to be oppressed for 400 years. Okay, cool, but I'm just trying to mind my own business and pay my bills. Like, please don't accost me on the bus, you know? Yeah, it's a strange time. And I've kind of tried to address that in my comedy a little bit, but it just hasn't gotten anywhere. I opened up this bit by saying like I grew up kind of idolizing black culture. Like we said earlier, Mike Tyson was a god. Michael Jordan was a god. I grew up listening to hip hop and all that stuff, and I was exposed to black culture on a very superficial level in that way. And my dad, who was outwardly racist, you know, was like he would take away all my rap tapes, but I could keep my heavy metal shit. Like singing about the devil and shit is he was against devil stuff too, but he was definitely more tolerant of the metal than he was the hip hop, and he would call it like jungle music and shit like that. And I kind of knew back then that shit was wrong, you know. And my racial conflict came with Mexicans. And I was trying to talk about this on stage where I gave a lot of examples. The first guy that ever kicked me in the balls was Louis Gomez. And the guy that fired me from my job and I had to lose my house was Mike Martinez. And if I have a problem with any race, it's Mexicans. But then I also talked about how I kind of, I don't want to get into the whole thing, but I had a realization and was like, well, it's, you know, there's good people, there's bad people. And And right.
You said,
but I don't trust those fucking Mexicans. And then
me neither.
But I could never make it happen because people just were not willing to go there with me. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm a white guy and that people just don't want to hear that from me. Even though I'm talking about my life experiences, shit, like you said, somebody kicked you and called you fag, and you're not allowed to talk about that because you don't know what it's like
to be
called fag.
To be kicked and called a fag. Wait
a second.
The math, according to the math.
I was talking to one of my black friends who's a comic, and I was telling him about like the amount of time you have to spend before a bit qualifying all these different things before you can go into the subject and not like have everyone angry at you. So they'll actually listen to the joke. And he goes, I don't have to do that. I was like, you don't? He's like, no, I've never. I just talk about what I want to talk about. And like, then we're standing there like, oh, it's me. I have to like, no matter what I write, if it's something social or touches on society, I have to be like, and here's what that means to women, not stepping on your toes. Here's what that means to black people, not stepping on your toes. Here's what, before I can even really talk about the thing. Yeah. I have to like whack-a-mole all those things so that everyone can get on board to laugh at the silly shit.
And it's gotten to a point now where you're almost preemptively apologizing for something when you're just trying to make a little jokey joke fuck around. But, oh, God help you if you say the phrase black people. Or, you know, like I was saying before, there's jokes that I used to do just like a year ago that would be a decent joke that just flat out
Yeah.
change the temperature of the room now because
You get a cough.
Yeah, people won't. I got chills a little bit when I that was spot on. Like, no,
it's happening again.
that's when you know the rest of the set is gonna suck.
All right, that's all I got is black guy material.
Yeah,
Shit.
you guys aren't gonna like this.
Oh, saying that is admitting defeat. Oh, you guys are gonna hate
I
this.
had
one.
that experience at what was it, Colorado Springs Fine Arts Center? Is that where Dan Rainey's doing his show?
Yeah, that's Rainey.
Phew, boy, did I have. I mean, it wasn't a total fucking shitbag set, but it was not great. And
Fine Arts Center, Colorado Springs. Is that the one right on is it Colorado?
yeah, off of Cascade.
How was the crowd?
It was full. It was full.
I can't see you bombing, man. I can't see that. Like, I don't. I've never seen you bomb, so I can't even imagine it.
Well, Chris Caesar warned me ahead of time that it was they don't like really dirty stuff, and I didn't think that I was being overly dirty, but I think I crossed their line. Oh, you know what it was? I made a joke, and I got to talk to my girl about this joke, or I got to stop doing it.
Nah, it's not gonna be that second one.
It never really goes very well. But she, are we on a time limit? I don't
No,
want to get too
you're good.
verbose here, but
I'm just checking all the levels and stuff when I look over here.
she got diagnosed with cancer last year, and she has a tumor in her eye, and she's going through treatment, and it's been rough. And I was sitting at home. We have a long distance relationship. She lives in Pueblo. I live in Aurora. I see her about once every week if we're lucky. Meanwhile, she's going through all this cancer stuff, and I was sitting at home and I was thinking about it. I was like, no. Nobody gives a shit how I feel that she's got cancer, because it had a pretty profound effect on my life too, And it wasn't like I was feeling sorry for myself. I was trying to come up with a way to make jokes about it.
Yeah.
So that I could talk about it and get my feelings out a little bit. And one of the things that I landed on is, when sometimes I get caught checking out attractive ladies at the grocery store, blah, blah, blah. If my girlfriend doesn't make it through her cancer treatment, I'm looking for a backup plan, basically. I think I did that here, and it didn't go over too well here either. But like a couple of times it's gotten a big laugh, but probably I've only done it like 5 times on stage, but at least 3 of those times it was like that fucking 2 coughs and a couple of horrified looks, and I'm like, ha ha ha.
I think there's you have to kind of establish yourself as a lovable shitbag.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm going for,
That's old Johnny.
Yeah, that's totally my vibe. It's like, yeah, I'm a piece of shit, but you want to party with me? I'm a good guy. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. And that's the one joke since I started doing stand up that I did not say to her before I did it on stage, because I just kind of ad-libbed it one night.
Yeah,
and I was like, ooh, that's fucking dark. I love that shit. And because that's my favorite kind of comedy. Mm-hmm. And if somebody did that in front of me, I'd be the one sicko in the back going, ha, 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 ha. You'd hear me over the whole silent crowd. And
cancer.
Yeah. And I got that reaction at Looney's. Like, everybody was quiet, and there was one guy that was, ha, 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 ha. And so I did the rest of my set just to that guy.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep. I was like, there's my audience right there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's I had a buddy ask me today. He was like, "So do you have like a section in your notebooks of jokes that like you can't do?" I was like, "I do have a section in every notebook for jokes that I can't figure out how to do."
Right.
Like, there's always a way to, I guess, approach it in the way that it just suddenly works. But that's one of those things that like, it's just one of the fucked up thoughts you have. That it's not like you were thinking about doing that. Like, I better really plan, but those thoughts come into your head occasionally.
Yeah,
and that's always really funny to me that no one talks about it. Even so much so to when it's brought up, everyone goes like, "Can't let anyone find out."
Yeah,
that's in there.
Yeah,
that part of me is like, she dies. I do have 3 plans.
Yeah. Yeah, I had
There's a phone number in there labeled D, if anything.
I went and saw Get Out. I went by myself in Fort Collins.
That was a damn good movie.
It was a very good movie. And it became like it was almost like you're socially responsible to go see it, to like understand the black experience or
fuck
something
yeah.
a little
No,
more.
that's exactly why I almost didn't see it. I was like,
Really?
fuck this guilt trip bullshit. Like, I'm not involved in this fight. This isn't my fight. I'm not watching this shit. And then my brother said it was a good movie. And I was like,
Yeah,
let's
no,
do
it was a great movie. And I definitely did. I made an effort to put that stuff aside when I went to see it. But these two black ladies sat down next to me and they were talking during the whole fucking movie, to the point where I was starting to get pissed off, and I wanted to say something, but we're at Get Out. So instead
I just addressed it. Could you stop being such a living stereotype?
Right. So I just got up and I moved seats. I went to a different seat, and I could feel them staring at me, like, but it kind of generated a joke where I was thinking to myself, well, I don't have any problem with black people as a whole, but I do want to hang everybody who talks in the movie theater. And I realize there's a lot of crossover there. And that's one of those things, like, it's a thought that I had that I was like, man, I'm tempted to say that on stage, but holy shit. Oh, yeah. And so I kind of dialed it back where, okay.
But if you do hang everyone who talks in the theater, people will think things about you that aren't true.
Right. So on the one hand, I went even deeper and I was like, okay, maybe hanging is a little harsh. Maybe we just take them out into the parking lot and we whip them in front of all of the other theater goers to let them know what kind of behavior we expect. And then I'm like, okay, maybe not go darker, maybe go in the other direction. Yeah. So I haven't quite worked that one out yet. And that's something that
I like the whole idea of, like, killing a certain type of person would make you seem racist, like, and has nothing to do with race. Like,
right.
Oh, the kind of person who would talk in the movie theater or, like, rob you. They'll think I hate Mexicans or something.
Right. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I don't have any problem with Mexicans, but if you walk down the street ringing a bell, holy shit.
How the fuck are you supposed to know that the fucking ice creams aren't here, man?
Yeah, man. So, and that's kind of what I was getting at with that, is where maybe so you're going to hate people, but hate people for different reasons, you know? Yeah. Hate them because they're shitty people, not because they all look the same or whatever.
Yeah. I remember when I was I used to think that it was nationwide, that all donut shops and laundromats were owned by Cambodians. I thought that was just a thing across the country.
Yeah.
I was in Long Beach, so I was like, I think, why are all donut shops owned by Cambodians? Like, they're not. That's just
right.
That's just Southern California, man.
There was a place in Pueblo that opened up. It was called Amy's Donuts, and it was like a Voodoo Donuts ripoff. They put like cereal on top of them and shit. And we knew that it was going to go out of business when we drove by one day, and it said, they had a sign that said now serving Chinese food, because they got bought out by some family that they really just wanted to have a Chinese restaurant. And so they bought the donut shop and they kept the donuts going for a while. And but they also so they were cooking things in the same fat. Their donuts tasted like fucking Chinese food. It was weird, man. Anyway, I don't know where
that's awesome.
I don't know why that story. Let me talk about donuts for a while. We haven't mentioned donuts yet.
I wonder if
the culture trying to let's make some Chinese food now. No, we can't. We committed to donuts.
Yeah.
All the signs and the posters are donuts.
Keep crushing those Fruit Loops.
I wonder if there's some people who have the mentality of like good team, bad team, good guys, bad guys. Like, there needs to be like some force working together for you to be on the good team. Like, there has to be a bad team. Like, I think there's some people that just can't see themselves as individuals. Like, they hold more that, like, I'm on Team Trump.
Oh yeah,
and all liberals are evil.
Yeah.
They have to be a part of some righteous cause. Yeah. They have to be. They have to be like be important in some way, even if they have to make up an enemy to fight against.
But well, it's when you choose the team and then you want to express to the rest of the team that you are like a high level member of that team. So if you're a Trump guy and you're the most virulently anti-Hillary Trump guy that's out there, then the rest of them will pat you on the back. And you gain an elevated social status by being like that.
Yeah.
and you get a bone.
Yeah, probably get some hand jobs at the convention. I think that's one of the worst aspects of humanity is that tribalistic need to get on a team.
Well, that's what it is I thought it was step 3 of Maslow's hierarchy is belonging and love needs to be inclusion, and then the next one up is esteem to reach a higher position in that group.
Yeah, exactly.
It's right there.
See how smart we are? I didn't even know it, and I just dropped some science.
Yeah, dude. Pulled out the Maslow's hierarchy of needs over here.
Fucking nerd. He started clicking on his computer. I was like, uh-oh, here comes some nerd shit.
I gotta go back to talking about butts now.
Donuts, man. No,
you did that. You brought in a hot dog for me today when I was setting all this stuff up, and you're like, here you go, dum-dum. And you closed the door so you didn't see me go like, dum-dum.
Yeah, I think that's what we need, man. We need people to just chill out and have a sense of humor about themselves and be willing to be made fun of. Look, I understand when you're being raped that rape isn't funny, but it's our job to It's our job to try and find to ease the burden a little bit by trying to find something funny in that situation.
So if you can tell your rapist a joke and you can both have a laugh.
Man, I'll tell you what, I would applaud a lady that had the wherewithal to drop a hotline. Like, check out this killer tag I just came up with. Now that's a stone cold badass right there.
Like he's in the middle, like
right. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
You know what? You're all right. Now shut up.
You're all right.
That's terrible.
She's like, that's pretty good. He's like, you ruined it.
Yeah.
You've ruined it.
Oh man, that's pretty funny. You're funny. This might be out of the question, but can I get your number?
Will you sign my T-shirt?
I totally regret raping you, and I know I'm not stopping. But
okay, now I'm uncomfortable.
No, this is supposed to be a love story.
What are you doing Tuesday? I'm just going to be laying cinder blocks in my basement.
Oh, jeez.
Mortar and bricks and mortar.
The northwest corner of my pit collapsed, so I gotta shore that up.
Oh man, you gotta have a monster mind.
There's I've had people tell me that like more in my life because I'm a pretty new comic, but when you're doing that, you spend years of your life before you ever get on stage, like just thinking in jokes and like trying to figure that out. So I've had multiple people over my life tell me like that's not okay to make fun of. And then at a certain point, I realized that's the only way that I make sense of things.
Yeah,
it's the only way I can approach those subjects is by laughing at them.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a little sick, but it's how I can understand it to a certain degree.
Yeah, exactly. You can't understand something if you're not allowed to think about it. What the fuck's wrong with these people?
Yeah, I've always gotten mine from, I've always been the contrarian. I'm always the asshole that's like, well, what about, why has it got to be like that, And so I like to argue, and I think that's where I get a lot of my shit from, because my favorite thing to do during a set is to piss off the whole crowd and then get them back. And then get them to where they're on my side, I'll say something that I know is going to be offensive. Like the Denver dildos thing, that pisses off. I've had Denver fans get up and walk out of the crowd at go leave the room at Looney's, and by the end of it, they're cheering, because I've made the point solidly enough that they're on my side, which I think a lot of comics need to get better at, because they say the shocking thing at the beginning, but then they're not able to back it up, without naming names. I know there's been some recent controversy.
Oh man, I wish you would name names. But anyways,
I mean, I will. I don't give a shit, but I want to.
And neither do I.
Okay.
Do you?
I was gonna say I kind of don't give a shit either.
Yeah.
Because like Tyler James, I don't know if you've ever worked with him.
Oh, we've had our interactions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? He's.
Wish I knew what all this meant.
He just moved into my closet.
He's a new closet guy.
He's a new closet. I've been calling him Tobacco Boy because I make him roll me cigarettes.
Nice.
Oh man,
roll me cigarettes.
But
do it now.
What is it? He's like he started this thing where, like with Chris and I talking to him, he was like, I've gotten better in the last week than I did the 3 years previous hanging out with those fuckheads since you guys like started telling me where I suck exactly, because they would just tell you great all the time, great, and you stay shitty.
That's a real problem.
So he started saying war like all the time, where he'll just where like well, we can't name names, and he'll go like war, name names, war,
name names.
Well, it's a real problem in the open mic world, especially in Colorado Springs, where everybody just pats each other on the head and tells each other how special they are just because they do stand up, just because they're willing to touch a microphone and get up in front of people. They're all great. There's no constructive criticism. And I think it really
that I'm guilty of that.
Dilutes the quality.
Talking directly to me.
No, no, I'm not. Trust me. But what I was getting at earlier was the Rosa Parks incident. Where, you know, I witnessed the whole thing on Facebook, and so I wasn't there. I'm not going to comment on any of that, but I think there is potential for a joke there. Where if you're going to say the thing, that can't be where you stop. You have to expand on it and give reasons and well thought out, convincing, charismatic arguments to back it up, to where if you do it successfully at the end, you can say, and that's why I say fuck Rosa Parks, and you get an applause break, as opposed to everybody going ooh, and that's your whole set, or that's the whole joke. I think
if you're gonna get an applause break for fuck Rosa Parks as your finisher,
I tip my hat to you as a writer.
No, but that's what I'm saying. There's potential there, but she's not at that level.
No.
But as an open micer, I feel like she should be given the leeway to explore that idea, and maybe be given some guidance and say, listen, that's super harsh and problematic. So maybe back it off a little bit and then say a few other things leading into it and, you know, work it. I don't think that there should ever be a forbidden topic. It's just, are you going to be able to approach it in a way where the people are going to be on your side? And that's what you've got to do. You got to be in charge of the room. As soon as they turn on you, then you've failed as a comic. You know, so definitely, that's a uphill battle with that particular material. Especially in today's social climate, you got to be able to dance around it pretty skillfully. And at the open mic level, it's probably not something you want to even go after.
I have a thought for you. What you think? I always had this idea or inclination that if, you know, most open mics, open micers, they would use the fucking microphone as a dick. You know, they're talking about sex, talk about race,
right?
Talk about a grandma getting choked to death, whatever. But I always thought, you might. It's always a good idea to try to learn how to tell a clean joke. Learn how to tell a clean joke before you can go back to being dirty.
Right.
That was the idea that I had, and I kind of agree with it because I agree with my own thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, what about you?
Well,
there's three other Marcos in your head. Like, good thought, Marco. Like, I know it was good.
They're all patting the name Marco.
I like
hoisting
the way we
him on their
Marco.
shoulders.
Marco.
I approached my stand-up like when I told my dad I was doing stand-up, he said, "Don't be crude." And I said, "Well, I got news for you. I'm pretty crude." And my first couple of years was all about eating pussy and what porn I watch and this and that. And when I told my dad, the way I said it to him was, I'm writing crude now because I'm not filtering anything that I'm writing. And the crude is what comes easy. You know, I can write that, I can get the reaction I'm looking for, and I'm just getting my chops right now. I'm just trying to learn how to be on stage. And I didn't really try to say anything intellectual for at least the first couple of years. And then when I try to be like, well, I'm going to make a point with this bit, then I feel like a pretentious dick. And it makes it hard to write in that direction. Now, the first time I ever tried to work clean was with you. And I found it a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
You mean at the college show?
Yeah.
That was the first time?
It was the first time I ever put any effort into doing
You
a clean
did
set.
amazing.
Well, all I did was pull out my other material. Like I took the least dirty material, and I was already a few years in by then.
Yeah.
I took the least dirty material, and I took out all the curse words. And I, you know, if there was a line that was dirty, like sexual or whatever, I just took it out. And I had enough material built up at that point where I could do 15 minutes clean. It wasn't that difficult. And then Sam Talent went on there and started talking about his grandpa's boner and everything. Like he didn't give a shit. He was like, "Oh, clean show, all right, cool."
And then he just, like, I think he knew that like he wasn't gonna, no one was gonna walk out at that point. Like,
Right? Yeah. Well, it was a pretty monster show. I mean, that show was
that was a great show because
that was one of those magical ones that I still think about every once in a while. And that's one of the things that I love about stand up is as dark and painful as it can get. Every once, I mean, 2-3 times a year you have a show where you can't fucking sleep that night because it was so amazing and everybody crushed and you signed a couple of autographs afterwards and sold some t-shirts and shit.
Oh, John Brown, I'll look for you.
Fuck yeah, man. Like and that's, I get that charge out of Loonies frequently. Like almost every time I get to work there, especially like when it's packed. When it's really, really packed, I feel really at home and I feel really comfortable and I can just go out there and blow their faces off. And I love that shit. And it's that right there is worth it to me to go out here and fuck with like, oh, maybe this joke's not like it's worth putting the effort in to really sharpen those jokes and make them marketable like that, I guess. Marketable, relatable, I guess.
Marketable.
I'm starting to feel like I'm babbling.
That works. Marketable is a good word.
I liked it was about, it was pretty recent that I was like 1 year and 6 months in when I first even tried to work clean.
Yeah.
And it worked. And I've been kind of doing gigs because the gig kind of demands it lately. It's been like a lot places that are open or like there's still daylight out.
Yeah.
And I'll work clean. And it's really nice that I can do that now. But I also, in the back of my head, feel really good that I still have all this dirty filth.
Yeah.
To like, if this starts tanking, like I can punish the audience and just start doing what I want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And just throw this whole set in the garbage.
I think, yeah.
Like, should I do that? No, but it makes me feel really good to know that I can. That's right there if I just flip this switch.
Yeah.
This idea, like, I think if dirty's where where your mind is and that's where you like it, that's awesome. I think the purpose of doing clean is so that you can like hit them harder with the dirty. You can like have a greater understanding of the language.
So it has more impact.
Yeah.
And they don't get tired. I've seen people
artfully implement the dirty so like you don't need it. So it's just all plus.
Right. Yeah, I've seen people get weary of like if a show's too dirty, they get like, ugh, enough of this stuff. You know. But if you like, I've thrown shows in the past where they're specifically dirty. Like that's the theme of the show. We have girls in underwear escorting the comics to the stage and shit like that. And those always go over really well. But when you book too many people that are just dark and dirty and that's all they do, I've seen it turn crowds off for sure.
You overuse the same word or
yeah. I'm definitely. I think it's just about having a range. You know, if you've got, like you said, if you got that weapon, and you know you can use it, you can work clean, you can work dirty. You're just more diverse, and you can fit yourself into different situations easier.
That's how I think of it is like tools and weapons. Is I'm just learning all these different tools, so I always have them. Reach out to work different ways. Like I'm working on crowd work right now, which isn't something that comes naturally to me.
Right.
I'm very writing based, but I'm trying to figure it out because I want to have that tool to be able to pull out whenever.
I think something that both of you do really well, I think, is that you guys can be very, very dark without being dirty at all. Just really bring them down into the depths without even saying one nasty word.
Like technically,
that's a horrible idea. Like, oh my God, this guy's screwed up, and you didn't say anything bad.
Yeah. Well, what I like about it is like for me, what you were saying, like I can't let anybody know that I have that thought. Those are the thoughts that I like to get out there.
Yeah.
Because if somebody hears that and I get a laugh, then it's like a little verification of like, okay, maybe I'm not that fucked up because that person related to that. Like, so I'm not all alone in this little category. And so, like, genuinely, I was thinking about this the other night. I don't think there's any deep, dark secrets that I have that I haven't just said boldface on stage.
Yeah.
And that feels good. I like that a lot because with me, what you see is what you get. I might be a dick. You might not agree with me, but I'm not gonna keep any secrets. So
if you were trying to drug and rape women, you'd spend the whole time going like, I know I have a killer joke on this, but
I'll get around this somehow.
So going to jail if I tell this joke.
What's the deal with drug and rape?
You guys will never guess where I buried the bodies. It's so hilarious. Have you been to SeaWorld?
Right. Oh man. No, it's always been really important to me to be honest on stage. So I don't like if a comic is fake, those are the comics I don't like. If they go up there and look at me, I'm a comic, and they've got I don't mind somebody that does wordplay and shit like that, but if that's all you're doing, I would rather hear you talk about yourself. That's just my preference as far as comedy goes.
Yeah.
Like Charlie used to drive me nuts with his puns and shit like that, and he's somebody that I think got really good at.
You would ironically call him a clown.
Charlie McMullen. Oh yeah, he's definitely
you fucking clown.
Like he would in a different life, I could see Charlie being a birthday party clown.
Yeah, me too.
A little bit of tweaking of the circumstances. Charlie could have been right in there with me. But he got really good about telling personal stories about himself, but also throwing in the silly, jokey joke, wordplay, and stuff like that. That's why I think Charlie's leaps and bounds above anybody else that I work with as far as comedy goes, because he's a joke writing machine, but he's also very down to earth, and he's not afraid to share some of that dark shit too. Talk about somebody that can work clean and be dark. Charlie, yeah. Man, I love that guy.
When I got into stand-up, because I thought before it was something I couldn't really do. Like, I don't know, I just watched Seinfeld and those guys, and I'm like, that's not how I think.
Right.
It's just not in the cards for me. And then I saw like Maria Bamford and Mark Maron, and I was like, oh, okay, that's more my speed. That can be stand-up too.
Yeah.
But I remember I was showing a girlfriend This Has to Be Funny, Mark Maron's album, which I identified with so much, where I was like, oh, this is my fucking life he's talking about here. And I showed it to her, and she was like, that's so crazy. Who thinks like this? And I was like, yeah. Yeah, nobody, right? That would be insane. He's like, this guy's crazy. I don't know why anyone would think like that.
But we can't put that. We can't. If we want to write jokes, we can't tell ourselves you can't think about that.
Yeah,
you can't go down that road. So a lot of things get weird, man. I did a joke about. I said I want to fuck a deaf girl because I want to be able to say all the fucked up shit. And the line that I used on stage was, "You've always been my favorite niece." And but I actually have a niece, and so I got uncomfortable doing that line because I have a niece.
Yeah, and
I don't want her to find out that I said that just now.
Yeah,
because so I have my own lines, I'm not attracted to my niece. I want to make that clear.
You're already down that hole. So sorry.
Let me mark that for an edit point.
Yeah.
I'm going to just cut out not.
Just replace it with Marco saying definitely.
Obviously not your voice. Definitely.
Oh shit.
Those are like the
Did you just remember something?
No, I was just thinking, let's not wrap it up right there. Let's talk a little bit longer at least.
Oh shit.
No, you can keep going as long, what is it? The one I did with Dan Rainey was like almost 4 hours.
No shit.
But normally they'll go between an hour and 2 hours. But yeah, we talked for a long time on that one.
Do you guys typically just kind of wing it, or do you?
Typically.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do these on Tuesdays before the mic. So I'll start recording at 6, and by 8 I have to go set up the mic. So we'll usually do 2 hours.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I like to get people on this when it's convenient for them, because not everyone can do Tuesday.
Yeah.
So when we do those, sometimes they go real fucking long. Like I said, Dan Rainey's went 4 hours.
Wow.
We sat around and talked. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to me to hear that Tyler has moved in over here and he's referring to somebody else as fuckheads. Like, I'm really curious. I feel like I'm out of the loop in the comedy scene here. I'm kind of isolated no matter where I go, but you know, we had there was the Peak 31 days. Did you ever go to Peak 31 when we were there? Well, that's where Comedy Anarchy started. It was just a Wednesday night open mic, and I don't know if she started the mic, but Megan Robinson was definitely involved in organizing the mic. And me and Ben Verbeck and Casey Fraze and Charlie McMullen.
Was that Thompson Boys?
This was before that.
That was before that?
Yeah. And Dave Frost went, and we started going, and then eventually Megan and the other guy just stopped, and we took it over. And that's when it became Comedy Anarchy, and that was the mic. And then the mic moved over to the 420 Speakeasy, which then became the Dab Lounge. And so Comedy Anarchy's been at the Dab Lounge for over 2 years.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we formed the Thompson Boys. That was me and Ben and Charlie and Casey and Dave. And then PJ Pallone kind of came on a little bit later. He went to Kansas City with us. That was kind of like the big solidification of the Thompson Boys, was when we took that Kansas City trip and did a show out there. And that was the first time we sold our T-shirts and shit. And we went and just partied our dicks off in Kansas City for a week. And Ben took acid and Charlie took acid, and it was insane. But
you just rode off into the sunset.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. And I don't know why I got off on that tangent. I just kind of started talking about our history, but
started delving into the past, and it's back.
Right. Well, and then so we did the first Sons of Comedy Anarchy tournament like a year and a half ago. And right when that tournament started was when Dave died. And then that seemed like for like the remainder of that tournament, it seemed like the whole Colorado Springs comedy scene was like solid. Everybody was on the same team. Everybody's buddies.
Yeah.
We're all getting along. And the tournament ended, and it seemed like everybody just kind of fractured off. Yeah. You know, Vanguard Comedy was formed, and Charlie eventually moved to Memphis, and Casey started doing improv. And we're all still great friends and everything, but the Thompson Boys thing kind of just faded off, and me and Ben just kept doing Comedy Anarchy at the Dab Lounge as this showcase show. And now we're starting to branch out more into open mics and stuff. But once we started doing the showcase and started focusing all of our energy on the Dab Lounge, it was like all of this other stuff fell away, and we're not even a part of it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's weird to hear like how things have developed and meet some of the new comics and shit. Like that open mic at Looney's last week, there was 40 comics there, and probably 30 of them I had never met before.
Yeah.
Which was shocking to me. I was like, how do I not know 30 comics in the Colorado Springs area?
Yeah.
Like I should know these people. So that's going to be a great thing for us to bolster the scene. And
what day is your open mics at Looney's?
Okay. Let me grab my calendar real quick. I'm cool, man. Let's talk some dates here. The next Looney's open mic is September 6th.
Oh, nice.
At 8:00, and then we have another one in October on the 19th. There's going to be a second mic in October, but we haven't set the second date yet.
6th and 18th.
19th. The 6th and the 19th. Yeah.
19th. Fool. Quit being stupid, Marco. What time does it start?
8:00. Well, you want to be there by 7. Sign up at 7. And we're going to hopefully be doing 2 mics a month, because if we get 40 comics again, everybody gets 2.5 minutes, and that sucks. It's like getting hit by a freight train. You don't get to settle in. I'd like to be able to give people 5 minutes, but we'd have to cut the list in half.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, it was intense, man. The room was packed. I've never been to an open mic like that before.
Yeah. Back in the old days when first got into it, Looney's open mic was huge as fuck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I started down in Pueblo, the open mic was big at first, but then like 2 weeks in, people stopped showing up to watch because it was 5 of the same comics and we're all doing the same jokes. Like it's hard to write new jokes every week.
It is.
You got to do 10. My first set ever was 20 minutes.
Wow.
Which, yeah, is ridiculous for a first time set.
It is. Like your first time it's like 2 minutes.
Right. But that wasn't like there wasn't an established structure like that, like they have in Denver, where you go to the open mic and you get 2 minutes your first time and maybe 3 minutes the next time. My first set was 20 minutes, and it's hard to write new material when you've got that kind of time in front of you. You know, because even when there was other comics, I think there was 5 comics on that show, and everybody did 20 minutes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens when you have like a small group of people and you kind of do what you want?
Yeah, and we were all brand new at running comedy shows, so we didn't know any better. You know, nobody wants to watch 5 dudes, 20 minutes each. Like, that's a marathon.
Yeah, stop. And then plus you're new, so
Yeah.
you're like not even that good.
Right. Yeah, 3 of them are just death from beginning to end, and then 2 of them you get a couple of good laughs, and then you got maybe one seasoned guy that can do a good set, and he's got a hole to dig himself out of.
Uphill battle, like everyone hates him already.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just it's my favorite thing I've ever done.
Oh, it's nice. I need to get back into it, man. It's helped me a lot. General communicating skills and shit. I mean, I've always been a kind of a numbskull when it comes to speaking to other people. It's helped out a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah. I don't know. It was never really anything that I never had stage fright. I kind of feel like a dick telling people that because it's like the number one fear was speaking in public, and it's never bothered me.
It's because you're not a pussy.
Okay, I'll take that.
You're afraid to talk to people, you
Right.
pussy.
Yeah.
What a shitty number one fear, like the least dangerous thing in the world, to communicate with people. The one thing you're supposed to do.
Well, there's a lot of perceived consequences. Like, what if they don't like me? What if they disagree? What if I piss everybody off? What if I embarrass myself?
What if Ugg, the village leader, hits me over the head with a rock?
Right. And that's probably it. You know, you make yourself stand out like that, you're making yourself vulnerable.
That's
and
right. My theory is that like exile and solitary apparently does more to the more damage to the human mind than like the death penalty. Like being told we're going to kill you doesn't like fuck up a human as much as like you just have to wander off into the desert by yourself now.
Right.
So like when you exclude yourself from the group of people and start talking to them, like you're basically putting yourself on the chopping block. So like you have to be good, like turn into a leader all of a sudden.
Well, it's definitely painful if they turn on you and they don't like you. It's bad and it sucks, and there's a lot of fear and panic involved. I think Marco was there for my worst set ever. Were you there when I called that chick a cunt in front of her mom?
Oh yeah.
You were at that show.
Wow. This woman, you called her a cunt so many times because
I did not. I said it one time.
But
I said that word
felt
one time.
like 1,000 times. It had the weight of 1,000 cunts.
I definitely knew it was going to be a bomb, and I dropped it.
You didn't bomb it. You just like you said I could have a set, or I could just nail this fucking bitch.
Yeah.
And you went with
I
the
chose
latter.
to go after her,
you totally made her leave.
No, she didn't leave.
She didn't leave.
No, we talked after the show. We had an exchange after the show too. She stayed there. She
what
was
happened?
there. I left before she did.
What'd you guys talk about?
Well, the way it goes is she was talking. She wasn't talking to me during the set. She was talking to the lady next to her, and she was being really loud and obnoxious and hooting and hollering when they got shots and everything. So I started making fun of her. And at first it was fine. Everybody was laughing. They're on my side. Then she started interacting with me, and I'm just tearing her to shreds. I don't even remember what all was said.
I don't remember. This is like 4 or 5 years ago?
It was a long time ago, yeah.
Damn.
It was, but so she's like, well, I'm trying to buy her a shot. And I asked the lady sitting next to her, I was like, well, do you want to hear the rest of my set? Or do you want to have no, I told her, I'll buy you that shot if you guys take your shot and leave. And the lady was like waffling. And I told the lady, do you want me to buy you a shot or do you want the loudmouth cunt to buy you a shot? And as soon as I said that, the whole room turned on me. Like they were not on my side anymore.
Yeah.
And the look of shock on both of their faces. Then the lady goes, well, she's my daughter, so I guess I'm going to get her. And I was like,
it's coming back.
And that's when I was like, all right, I'm done. That's the end of my set.
That's my time, everybody.
And I'll tell you what, man, that set will never go away. I will carry that set with me as long as I'm doing stand-up.
It wasn't that, to me, it wasn't that bad. It was just memorable.
No, I just take it as a lesson, as to figure out where that line is, where you can tear them apart to a certain extent, but once the audience turns on you, you're done.
Yeah.
And that's the line I was trying to walk, and I didn't. I thought I'm gonna call her a cunt, and everybody's gonna cheer and throw things at her because she was being the asshole, not me.
Right.
But
I think there's not between an enemy, treating her like an enemy, and then treating her like parental criticism. Like you are their parent. She said, she's my daughter, and I said you should have raised her better. That's what. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Yes, that's when they turned on me. Because even the cunt thing, they were like, "Ooh, not cool." But then as soon as she said she's my daughter, then everybody, oh shit. And then I said you should have raised her better. That was it. That's when That's when they really turned.
There was
on
a
me.
moment right before that where they're like, he could still turn this around.
Oh no, I think
that's what the comics were thinking. Like, come on, John, don't let him break you.
That was the best thing I could think of was you should have raised her better. And God damn it.
Well, you did. I distinctly remember you did better than my set. If that was the same night I performed, man, I was shit.
Nobody remembered your set. Trust me.
Good. Thank you, John.
Right.
That I remember my set, and it was
that service a lot.
Terrible. Well, at least you weren't terrible. You just fought someone verbally. Like you didn't tell any bad jokes. You were just horrible to somebody.
No, I definitely made some mistakes though. That's for sure. I made some mistakes, and I even I don't think I tried to apologize to her, but I tried to explain to her, like, look, that's not cool to just talk during somebody's show and stuff. You went after me because I'm pretty. I'm a cunt because I'm pretty, right? And I was like, who the fuck said you were pretty? And I just I grabbed my
I'm not trying to fuck you. Like, Jesus Christ.
That was the vibe she came at me like. And, she definitely was a spoiled young lady.
Yeah.
And
you're a solid 4.
I don't know.
I remember her being a solid 4, but she was a blonde solid 4.
Oh, right.
So she assumed that everyone was trying to fuck her because in Pueblo, the Pueblo scale, like as 4 is as high as it goes. So she was.
Yeah. There's some good looking girls in Pueblo.
I know. I'm just fucking.
My girlfriend lives in Pueblo.
Hi,
baby. She's at least a 4. Come on. She's a 5.5. I told her from the stage one time that it's not that I have low standards. It's that I have a wide range of standards, and that she's pretty high up there on the list of.
He didn't rate women on 1 through 10 scale. He said he rated them on a 1 through 30 scale. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he said, if a woman's a 10, she's a pretty ugly bitch. And the reason he does that is so you can act appropriately when talking to them. Like if you have a woman who's a 5, or like an ugly bitch, or a 2, like a 32. So she's a 2, but she's a 2 hot. So you know how to behave.
Right.
I thought that was genius. I was like, oh shit, you just opened my mind to how I should act.
Yeah.
There's 3 categories of acting, like fuck.
Yeah, Patrice got away with a lot of shit that I wouldn't even approach. There's some of the stuff that guy says is just I couldn't even, because he did it so artfully. You know, he would talk about his attitudes towards women in a way that that shit is repugnant. Like some of the shit that he said was just over the top, objectifying and stuff like that. But the way he supported it was so masterful that you kind of had to be like, well, he's got some points there, you know?
He was just so righteous about what he said. Like
Yeah.
the way he said it, you got to be righteous, and that's
Right.
exactly how he carried himself when he said shit like that.
Well, he's just up front. This is the way I deal with things. If you can fuck with that, we can hang out.
Yeah.
If not, then good luck to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were talking about that, about listening to his ideas, and we were like on moral grounds. It's very hazy at best,
Right.
but like just by functionality, like I can't say that he's incorrect. Like there's some, when you separate the morality from it, like I don't see where he's wrong on anything.
Standpoint,
Yeah,
it's a functional way to manage your own life.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
if you, ladies, if your pussy, you lost your pussy in a horrible train accident. How would you keep your man?
Yeah.
Like
That to me,
that was a great fucking bit. Oh my god!
Well, that right there, I think it's the greatest bit I've ever seen performed perfectly. Because like he says it at a theater in his HBO half hour. He says like, if your pussy just train accident, brought it up and fell out of you, like. It's like, how do you keep your, and all like it's there's an upper deck, like it's 2 decks of people in a giant theater.
2 decks, like balconies and shit,
like just all the women in the place hating him, and all the men sitting next to the women going like, I can't even, like I look straight ahead
getting pussy
in this moment, and he's still
just letting it sit.
All right, that butthole, all right, mouth, butthole,
yeah,
all right, okay.
See, and I love that shit.
Yeah.
That moment of uncertainty where everybody in the room is like, "Ah, fuck, where's he going with this?"
Yeah.
I like that few seconds of quiet, because especially if I know that I've got something monster coming up behind it, where you're unsure now, but wait just a few minutes. Like, stick with me for 5 more lines, and you're gonna be my best friend.
That's one of those things I was talking to Tyler about like I thought of it as like building up a bubble of tension. Like you slowly build up this tension bubble, and then I think the best way to do it is to have one line that like pops that and has the whole, like all the waves of comfortability like rushing back. Like you built up this thing and then you destroy it in like one quick line.
Yeah.
And because he had a joke where he was talking about like cops and Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, and then at the end he ended it with like a Lego pun, and it got booze. And he couldn't figure out why, and I was like, you basically spent a whole minute building up this bubble of tension, and then when it was at its capacity, when it was at its max, you're like, and here's a duck shitting over here, and they're like, fuck you.
I was so on with you.
It's a misdirection. Yeah.
You look behind this door and it's just a butthole doing this.
See, and I honestly I like to think that I learned that lesson from my haunted house days, because I used to work on building and acting in haunted houses. And one of the things that always drove me nuts going to other people's haunted houses is it was just constant screaming and people banging on shit and jumping out of. There was no moment of like, oh shit, let me catch my breath and go down a dark hallway and build the suspense, or like just a quiet scratching or something creepy. It was always like in your face screaming,
like jump scare shit.
Right. There's no ebb and flow. Yeah. And so that was something that actually writing comedy, I kind of consciously took that concept and tried to.
And that's something I haven't even had the chance to even cultivate. Like I've only been an open micer and on and off, that I've had a couple of good bits here and there, but I haven't had a chance to have a bit that leads into another bit that leads into an orchestra of like a satisfaction. I've never even come close to that. Like it's just bit. That's pretty good. That's kind of sucks. But that's a good bit. That's a good bit. I'm done.
Right. Well, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's levels, you know. You've got your hobbyists and your lonely people that just want to do something, so they go out to the open mics, and that's fine. Most of those are tolerable, cool people. Some of them are a little hard to be around, but I'm not going to name any names on that one. And then you've got people that do it you've got a solid 10 minutes, but you're not super serious about it. You've got a job that you're more focused on, military or whatever. And then you've got like Charlie basically has dumped his whole life to go do comedy. And, he's working to pay his bills and he does comedy. Me, I'm somewhere in between those two things where I would love to eventually work myself up to where I'm traveling.
The chains of obligation.
Right.
Yeah.
I got that health insurance, man. I got to keep that day job because, I might need surgery or some shit, and I'm this close to just pitching all of that because I'm finally getting to where I'm fairly confident.
I think you're doing it probably the right way. You can't, I mean, you could either just jump and see if you fly.
Right.
Then there's a splat.
And I've done that a few times.
or you could do it I think the people like they always do this thing, chase your dream, just do what you love, sort of bullshit.
Yeah.
Of just platitude that doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah. Well, my whole 20s, man, I was working a day job and I was doing birthday parties, and it got to where I was not making a living doing birthday parties, but it was enough of a conflict where it was like, hey man, I got this big apartment complex grand opening and I'm under contract for the whole weekend, so I can't work overtime. And it was started to conflict with my job, and they finally were like, well, maybe you should go do that. And they got fired. And then I was a full-time birthday party clown for a couple of years. And I think that fucked me up because when that went away, I was self-employed long enough where when it went away and I had to go get a day job, I was like, oh, this is fucking torture. I hate this. And I feel that way now. I sit in a cubicle and I look at a picture of my girlfriend where I'm like, well, if I was self-employed, I could be having lunch with my girlfriend right now. Yeah. But instead I'm like selling my life at X amount of dollars per hour to this fucking company that doesn't give a shit about me, so it's a struggle. It's a conflict for sure.
It's possible to work toward love. I'm going to say responsibly, but I'm going to say intelligently.
Right.
You don't have to be a foolish child in love, chase your dreams.
But if I was younger, I mean, I just turned 39. I'm starting to smell my mortality. So I'm conflicted with the idea of like, am I going to do the responsible adult thing, or am I going to do the crazy life is short, live it while you can thing?
Well, I'm in the Army. So right. So yeah, I have a good fucking job, and I'm doing too many things. Right. Comedy's a hobby.
Right.
And I'm still like moving further and further from that, and I'm trying to fight. That happening. So, but I'm moving toward that shit. If I went, I'm gonna be a fucking fighter, then what am I gonna do? I'm gonna be a bum.
Yeah, you can't half-ass fighting, dude.
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a fucking bum.
I haven't watched your video. I saw that you won. I saw you posted it.
Oh man, I beat the shit out of that guy.
Yeah, that was fucking badass.
Yeah,
that was cool as shit.
I haven't seen too many MMA fights in person that were not like a one-sided fight. Like pretty much every time I've bought a ticket and gone to see a fight, it's been one ass whooping after another, because I don't know if it's just the talent pool or what the issue is, but it seems like it's always mismatched. Like one dude, there's
a tipping point that's just easy to get to.
Yeah,
just there, it's all going south of that guy.
Yeah, once you gain the advantage, I mean, I've been in a few fights where, pretty much right away if you're gonna get your ass kicked or if you're gonna be the one kicking the ass. And I'm just talking like completely just street fight bullshit. I'm pissed at this guy, so I'm gonna beat his ass. But I also fought the same guy twice, and I knew because I beat the shit out of him the first time that I was really gonna beat the shit out of him the second time.
I knew it in my heart.
Oh yeah, I knew going in like, oh, this is gonna be ugly, because I had beaten him so soundly the first time. I was like, oh, he's not even a challenge, and so I was able to be a lot more calculated. Like, okay, first I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna sit on that arm, and I'm just gonna hammer his fucking face. So that's kind of how it went down, but. I don't know what it must be like to do like. So do you train and all that?
I think as much as I can around work, after work, I'll do it. But I think part of it is a lot of these guys who fight, especially the lower levels like me, is a lot of the people they've never been, because I've had 20 years of wrestling under my belt.
Right.
Now, so that's for my advantage. They haven't been put in push that where they have to choose between giving up and continuing on, or being comfortable with being in pain and being like, well, this is part of it. Fuck it, and just keep going.
Right.
Most men have not been there, or even worse, put themselves there and do it often.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when they hit that point where, oh shit, I might lose, and then keep moving forward, most men is like, I might lose, I've lost.
Might as well just quit.
And they break.
Right.
Most men break, and I think very, very few guys, even at the fighting level, at the local fighting level, they haven't been there often enough to make that conscious decision. Oh shit, yeah, I might not win this, and also this sucks, and I'm hurting, and I can't breathe right now. All right, let's keep fighting.
Right.
Let's keep doing this. Let's see how I can turn this around.
That's too much work for me, man. I wrestled my freshman year in high school, and I knew first practice, this shit is not for me. And I wrestled I saw it the season, and I just didn't sign up the next year because it was like football was fun. I enjoyed playing football. Wrestling had no element of fun to it whatsoever.
Pain.
It was just hard work and brutal. And if you complained, they laughed at you and they made it harder. Oh, you think it's hard running up those stairs? We'll carry your buddy on your back. Well, it was like they were trying to kill
how do
us.
You keep people on the team.
Yeah, that's how it felt. It seemed like they were trying to kill us every practice, and it just wasn't.
Why are you
fun.
guys all doing this to yourselves? It's a turn on, is what.
Yeah.
Damascus.
Well, look at these muscly dudes we get to roll around with.
Any amount of pain.
I can say this, man. There was a lot more like weird gay shit that went on in the football team than there was on the wrestling team.
I had the same experience.
Yeah, I'm too tired to rub my dick on people right now. Like I said,
yeah.
I mean, I get it, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah, there was a lot more dudes on the football team that were willing to joke around like that and whip their balls out in front of you and try to trick you into touching them and shit like that.
Yeah.
Than I ever saw on the wrestling team. It was definitely a tougher group of guys. There was some crossover. There was some wrestlers that were football players too, but it was a whole different scene, man.
Yeah, I quit football like my junior year of high school because I had a really weird moment where I played football like freshman and sophomore year at my old high school, and then I moved to Colorado. And when I got to this football team, it was like really gay. And like to the point where like the steam from the showers was making everything misty, and then they'd turn the lights off and play techno music, and then they had like light pots, like it turned into a gay nightclub.
Wow.
Just a bunch of naked dudes like rubbing their dicks on each other, and they didn't call it gay, they called it team building. Like we're becoming a team together, like one unit.
That makes it even gayer, like that.
Yeah,
that's what made it gay. It wasn't the dicks rubbing.
Yeah,
it was the fact that they called it team building.
Right.
That's what made it gay to me.
But it was
don't make this gay. Just rub my dick on it. Rub my dick and stop trying to.
Well, even better, if you're gonna be gay, just be gay and
yeah,
don't be weird and around the corner about it. Just
that was the thing that kept coming up is
around
like
the corner about it.
Well, who are you fooling? You rubbed your dick on me. Come on, man.
That's that's super gay. That's level 10 gay.
Well, like we'd have
not level 10.
Like we'd have an hour of practice after school. And then there would be like another 2 hours of everyone in the locker room. And I didn't want to participate. I was like, I'll just go home and take a shower, and as opposed to do all this because it seems like a lot. Wow. And what is it? And
there's 2 hours in the locker room of nightclub, misty nightclub.
Everyone just rubbing their dicks on each other. Like it went on for a long time. So I remember one time. So I got I started getting called a fag because I wouldn't team build with everybody. I would just get my shit and bounce. And I had one moment where like I opened the door, and because it's so dark in there and full of steam, like all this light came in, and I turned behind me because this guy is yelling fag at me. So I turned to look, and he's bent over a bench, and the other guy has like the head of his dick in his asshole. And what is it? And the guy on the bench goes like, fucking fag won't team build with us, guys.
Wow.
Fucking fag.
Okay,
And then just like
That's
as
dark, dude.
as the door like slowly closed, and then a wisp of like steam, and I was like, I think I'm done with this. I think I
that
don't like
would've made me
football
quit
anymore.
football.
First of all, that
too,
guy's
yeah.
either a comedy genius,
That is like
which I highly doubt. But if he is,
that is like some Clockwork
It's like I
Orange
don't
shit.
like
That
playing
is-
football.
that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
to
you
me.
had a way
Even-
different experience
yeah.
than I did.
Even weirder is I went home and told my parents like I don't want to play football anymore. My dad was like, you
Who
got
are
to
you,
go back
pussy?
there and be a man. And I was like, I don't want to. Is that
Did
what
you
it
tell
is?
your dad?
Yeah.
I don't wanna-
I was like, I don't want. I didn't tell him that part. I didn't really know how to frame it. I thought that was just
Man.
football.
Wow, that would have fucked me. I would have had nightmares about
The
that.
second part of football, I
Yeah.
don't like it.
Yeah, I didn't have any real frame of reference for it, so I was like, I guess I'm a fag because I won't fuck them.
That just that begs the question. I mean, you got to wonder how much of that stuff's going on because that almost sounds like cult-like behavior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like team building. You're calling it team
We're
building. Like
we're
that's
team
fucking
building.
dark, man.
You
Team
and I
build.
will team
So
build
and that kind of
together.
weird-
I'm holding out hope that he said that in a sarcastic way. Like
I
like he won't
know.
team build with
The
us
way he
guys.
described it sounded like a fucking horror movie. So
Yeah. I imagine strobe lights and
Yeah.
like goat heads. Like I imagine they're fucking waiting for you. There's
That-
blood and there's some
yeah.
guy doing this.
that image of the door closing is like burned into my brain a
Yeah.
little bit, or like because like you can't really see anything because it's so foggy and dark. So as soon as the light came in, and I turn around and see a dude bent over. He's like, "Fagger!" Then the door like closed.
wow,
It's so
dude, that's like a scene
so
from a
in
movie. You need to write a
Yeah.
movie around that. That's some crazy shit.
Game, man.
And that all comes from, like I was saying before, just be gay. Why
Yeah,
put
just
all the
be-
gayness around it?
just be gay. Yeah.
Because now you've got a nightmare because
Yeah.
a couple gay dudes couldn't deal with just being gay.
Yeah,
You know, so they had to do all this weird shit around it.
None of this counts.
I'm sure there was.
None of this counts.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I'm
there,
not gay. He's gay. He's the one with a dick in his ass.
I need to come up with complex and baffling rules about this.
Man.
It kind of makes me wonder. I wonder if there was like 3 or 4 really crafty buff gay dudes that started all of it, and then that my thing was years later. Like they institutionalized
They started a
something.
tradition.
They started a tradition
building.
of team building,
Wow.
and it's like continued on from the upperclassmen to the lowerclassmen.
There probably was, dude. There's probably a couple of superstar wide receivers or something that
Yeah.
just happened to be gay and they got caught butt fucking each other in the locker room or something. And no, this is team building. Come on in.
Oh,
Come on in.
Follow my flow chart and
Yeah.
I see why I'm not gay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a fag if you won't team build me
Yeah.
all
yeah.
over my chest.
Team build me. He'll team the fuck out of me right now.
It kind of begs the question, like you got to wonder how many football teams have that going on, because isn't
Yeah.
it a little strange that this many years of the NFL there hasn't been a single player that is gay? I mean, there's that Michael Sam guy, but how quickly did he disappear? You know,
Right. What are the
That's
odds
the
he's
one
the only
guy.
one?
Yeah, slim to none. A bunch of buff dudes that are obsessed with their physical, being. Of course, they're fucking each other.
Mhm.
Of course, they are.
Like you don't care if it's not true or
No.
anything. Of course they're fucking each
all
other. They're fucking each other. I know it.
Tom Brady's got a dick in each hand right now
yeah.
as we speak.
Yeah.
That's sign language for party.
What? Sign language for party, really?
Yeah, it's-
Who made that up?
The pterodactyl.
Me.
This is some absolute.
Me.
I made that up.
You just made that up just now? Okay.
Sign language for
I'm just
party.
picturing like some ancient, not ancient, but like when was American Sign Language invented? In the 50s or something?
I don't know.
I'm just picturing the dude who came up with it is a total pervert, and he's like, I don't know what you guys consider a party, but this is a party for me. So that's what it is.
That's
Yeah.
a party. That's a party.
But then I find out you.
I'm
made it up,
convinced
so.
like this is ID in sign language.
Uh-huh.
I don't know that for a fact, but I think it's done so much it has to be.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take a bet. ID is
It's kind of the universal, like, because if it's loud music or something, the bouncer goes like
because
that.
and if not, it is by now. Because every time someone says, "Can I see your ID?" and they do this, I say, "You know that sign language for ID?" Really? And I go, "Yeah." Fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think they believe.
Yeah.
I've spread that to at least like 20 places.
You're
So.
changing the world, man.
Yeah,
That's what I love doing shit like that, like little harmless lies like that. Because my name's John Brown, and there's the cartoon Charlie Brown. So for a long time now, I've been telling people at just random intervals in conversation or whatever. My grandfather was Charles Brown, and he went to school with Charles Schultz, who was the creator of Peanuts. And so every year, my grandfather gets a likeness rights payment from the Charles Schultz estate because he based the
that
the
sounds
character
so
of
fucking believable. Holy shit!
He based the character. They were good friends. He based the character of Charlie Brown on my grandpa because he was like this sad kid. He had that where his hair falls out, so he was bald as he was a kid, and he got made fun of a lot. He made friends with Charles Schultz, and they were friends their whole lives. And he created this character based around my grandpa. And
he danced like it.
Yeah, and people believe that every time I tell that story.
Yeah,
and I always back down and be like, and I made all that up. So
yeah,
that's how stupid you are.
That was one of my favorite things about when we all went out to Kansas City to do that show. We were wearing our Thompson Boys T-shirts, so we're all walking around. They had this whole block, and it was nothing but bars, and they would close it off, and the whole city just went there and partied, and it was just madness. Women everywhere, just drunks, and there's us in matching T-shirts cruising around, out of towners. A couple of us are on acid. We're all wearing bandanas and shit. And I kind of gathered the guys up. I was like, look, we'll never see any of these people again ever. We can tell them whatever we want. So we were telling little stories about who we were. Like we told one group of people that Casey was an internet hip hop sensation. And then we were out celebrating his 1 millionth view on this video. And it was like Casey D and the Thompson Boys, and that's why we were all wearing matching shirts. And we told people that we were a bachelor party. And at every stop that we went to, a different guy got to be the guy who was getting married. So we're like, yeah, we're celebrating. My buddy's getting married. And like I told this chick that Casey was getting married, but I didn't tell Casey that he was the groom. So he was just like, what? You know? And it's fun. I mean, you use that skill for just to have a fun experience and not be
harmless lie. Harmless lie. That's good. I'm starting thinking of a bunch of shit.
Yeah, man.
Good.
It's it's just a different way to be creative.
Where's the crossover between that and shit we do already? No.
Right. Well, I think for me, at least, my conscience, I try to be honest with people that I know I'm going to be interacting with in the future, at least, you know. And if I'm lying to you, I'm just fucking around. I'm not really trying to hide something. But if I know it's somebody I'm never going to see again, I don't give a shit what they think about me. I can tell them whatever I want.
Yeah.
I told this chick once, my buddy had this new girlfriend that he was seeing, and I came over to his place and we were all hanging out. And he left for a minute to go to the bathroom or something. She was like, so what do you do? I was like, well, last night I swam up to a yacht and boarded it and ended up meeting Kanye West. And I showed him some of my music, and he said that it was really good. So we're going to start a side project, me and him, called NYLAND and Sometimes Yay. And then the next day my buddy calls me and he says, why does my girlfriend think you know Kanye West? And I was like, she believed that shit? How does that make it? You need to dump her because she's a moron.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's just playful. And that, you know, when you figure out that you have that skill, you have a choice to make. You can either become a scumbag and start swindling people and ripping people off and stuff, or you can just have some fun with it and try to be a good guy.
Because what I'm like, the option was to tell the truth and then just say construction. Then we sit there and look at each other for a long time.
Yeah, where's the fun in that?
My buddy pees. And we go, hey, he's cool. I know. I just met him.
2 + 2 is 4. Bananas.
Well, you hear comics talk about it a lot where when they're traveling, if they get caught up in an airplane conversation or something, they'll lie about what they do. Yeah. Because if you tell somebody that you're a comic, then you have the rest of the trip to be like, well, here's a joke that I heard. Here's a story you can use in your material. Yeah. Why don't you tell me a joke? Like, fuck that. Like that, those conversations are insufferable.
Yeah. I've learned, I think, yeah, if you're in a dating situation, or a big part of your life, don't ever say it.
Yeah.
You just pigeonhole yourself.
Yeah.
So it's better to be a fucking plumber who's just funny.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm lucky because I was with my girlfriend before I started doing comedy, and she's been on my side the whole time. So we'll see once I tell that cancer joke. But we'll see how she feels about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good. I haven't had to worry about it dating wise. I think I've gotten to a point now where it's enough of who I am that if I was single again, if you can't fuck with me being a comic, then I'm not interested in dating you. So I don't see it as being a problem for me moving forward, at least.
Oh yeah. More like something that you just don't mention until later.
Right. Yeah, you really got to get in there first.
Yeah, get in there. Don't be saying, "Oh, I'm a comedian."
Yeah. I always say I do construction because no one will go like, "Oh, you do construction? Build me a house."
That's awesome. Yeah.
Build me a house right now.
Yeah.
Let me see you're not full of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
better build me a house and it better be good. God damn it.
Maybe we should try to name the most boring job you can fucking do. I'm a box inspector.
I inspect boxes, and if they're no good, then I use my box cutter to deal justice.
Sometimes I fix them.
Fun fact: you'll be surprised how many boxes are just fine.
Yeah, it's pretty wide tolerance on those boxes.
So what is it like? Correspondence, really.
That's what I loved about being a machinist, man. When I was a machinist, it was what do you do? I cut metal with metal. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Because
while listening to metal.
Yeah.
Listening to metal.
When you get into the technical aspects of it, of like, well, I programmed the machine. There's an X and a Y axis, and you have to you get it down to the 10,000ths of an inch, and you're just measuring and all this other shit. Like
reach over for the hand lotion.
Yeah, it gets.
And continue to make
you press the start button, and then you sit down and read Harry Potter for 2 hours. And that was my job, man. I used to machine parts for air conditioners, and I had the machine. It had 6 parts on it, and the last part had a 3-hour cycle time. So I would go in and I set up my whole table, and I would push the start button, and I didn't have shit to do for 6 hours. It would run all those parts, and the last one, while that was in, I would measure everything else and set it up. And the last thing I would do of the day is measure that big one, put it on the pallet, load up a new one, and then I was done. And I had like 2 more hours to kill on a 12-hour shift.
Oh man, I'm so jealous. I just imagine you put on one of those big, ridiculous poofball hats.
Yeah. No, I had a big stack of books though. I mean, I got a lot of reading done on that job. I don't know. I'm getting tired, so I'm starting to just babble.
No worries, man.
I still have to meet with Ben Verbeek tonight. Comedy Anarchy, everybody.
Yeah, Comedy Anarchy.
We got some big shit coming up that I need to meet with Ben about. So I'm not really sure what I'm allowed to talk about right now, but definitely pay attention to what we got coming up.
Yeah, if you want to plug anything, plug away.
Thursday night, Comedy Anarchy presents every single Thursday at the Dab Lounge.
Awesome.
Follow us on Instagram. It's all Dab Lounge or Comedy Anarchy. You can find our shit. We've definitely got some big stuff coming up. One of my favorite comics in the whole world is coming through in October. And that's one of the things I'm not sure I can say out loud yet, so I'm not going to say his name, but it's definitely a good one.
Don't promise what you can't deliver.
That's right. It's not exactly set in stone yet, so I don't want it, but I'm very excited. So
nice.
We've been getting a lot of big names through. We've had Jeff Tate. We've had Sean Jordan. We've had who was that guy? I can't think of his name. Shit. Anyway, a lot of real legit traveling headliners are coming through the Dab Lounge now on these Comedy Anarchy shows. Shout out to Fort Comedy for helping us out with that, because they've been filtering a lot of talent down our way. So that's really the big thing, man. Comedy Anarchy, open mic at Looney's, and the shows at the Dab Lounge.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. We were talking about it when you went to. I don't know what happened. Did you eat a cigarette or what? Yeah. You were gone for like 30 seconds and you came back and you smelled like a hot cigarette.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, I did it. I went out there and I was like, I don't want to miss too much, but I fucking need a cigarette. So I just inhaled the whole thing.
Yeah, no, we were talking about the open mic at Looney's is on. The next one is September 6th. Yeah. We're going to do 2 in October and hopefully 2 a month moving forward from there.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, Ben was telling me all about that and I was like, I'm excited you guys will be taking over that because I never liked going to that one. I went to it like twice and I don't know, just didn't enjoy being there.
I think with you guys there, it's going to be way better.
Well, I can't take credit for the 40 comics that we got the first time we did it because it caught me by surprise. Apparently it's been big like that the last few times they've done it.
Yeah.
But my experience with that mic was there was plenty of comics to do a show, but there wasn't enough people there to justify keeping the club open. So you would show up not even knowing if the mic was going to happen or not because they would cancel the whole thing.
Yeah.
If they didn't have people there to buy drinks and stuff. So the way it's been going though, man, we had this last one. We had a packed house, 40 comics. It was a rapid fire 2-hour show. Everybody got 2.5 minutes. And it was just go, go, go all night long. I did the math on the steps. They have 2 steps down and then 4 steps up to get on stage. I did like 260 something steps, going back and forth for each comic and shit. So I'm like, damn, I got my workout in today.
Nice.
It's madness.
Oh, good, cool. I'm sure I'll catch you around at either Comedy Anarchy or that.
Hell yeah, you'll see me around.
Yeah. Yeah, just did the last Thursday show. That was a lot of fun. I'm not sure who was supposed to headline, but Anthony Armstrong showed up.
Yeah, we had to cancel. It was somebody who traveled, and Ben set that up, and she canceled the week of. So I booked Anthony Armstrong, and that dude is always a monster.
Yeah,
how did that show go? Was it pretty good? I wasn't.
It was good. It was a smaller crowd, but like Anthony definitely crushed it, and. What was his name? I want to say Nate something, Denver guy. He looked really young, but he was really good.
Let's give him his proper
Chris Castles, I guess, this guy from Texas. He went up and talked like food puns for his whole set, but so much so that like I can't think of another food pun, and then he would think of one, and it would catch you.
I love that one.
So was it Zeke Herrera? Was he there?
I don't remember Zeke.
Okay, I don't want to say his name if he didn't show up. Zeke, why didn't you go? I got you on my calendar, bro. What's up, man?
I was
Freddie
hanging out. I was watching.
Yeah, so it sounds like it was a little bit different.
Yeah, it was a little bit wonky, but I've heard a lot of good things about Anthony Armstrong from some of my friends who have worked with him. So it was cool to get to see him. I didn't know that I was gonna.
Yeah,
but he was really cool to watch.
No, that guy's a monster, and he won the Looney satellite of the World Series of Comedy. So he's getting ready to go to Vegas and compete in that again this year.
Nice.
And I mean, he's a beast. That guy's really good. When he did the Sons of Comedy Anarchy tournament this last year, he did one set, 5 minutes, that was just wall to wall murder. And then he did a longer set in the finals where he started off really slow. And at first I was like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? Is he in a bad mood? Did somebody, but he did it on purpose. He was starting off and it was a slow burn, and he ended up just knocking it out of the park. So, I mean, he's really versatile, and he knows what he's doing. That guy's he's one of my favorite comics in Denver for sure. So I'm glad he did well. But that's the kind of shit we do, we've got a decent talent pool now at the Dab Lounge where we book these comics and we want to bring them back again and again, but it's like the list is so long now. It's like, okay, well, we'll see you in a few months. Thanks for doing it. And doing a show every single week. The first year was a struggle because it was like, where do we get enough good comics to book a good show every week?
Yeah.
And for a long time, it was hard to do that. And then the talent pool just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and now it's gotten a lot easier. The show kind of runs itself.
Nice. Awesome. Well, I won't keep you any longer because you said you have to meet with Ben. But,
yeah, I gotta get.
Thanks for coming and doing this, man.
Sure.
Even late night. Yeah. If you ever want to be back on, just message me. We can do another one.
And the camera wasn't all that distracting. Look at that beard.
No,
I don't
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like I showed off my beard enough.
No, you didn't.
See, you army men aren't allowed to do this shit. This is how we express our manliness.
Nah.
If you didn't have to, would you immediately grow a beard? Like if you became a fighter full
I
time?
actually look not as bad without a beard. Like the only beard I can grow is like a goatee mustache combo, like
Oh, yeah.
Hispanic style.
I think I saw a
uh,
picture of you with that,
it's-
and you look like the devil.
It's actually not that attractive, so
yeah,
my chin ain't that bad, so I think I'll keep that.
yeah.
Yeah, you got a strong chin.
I'll be. Man, I can't even remember my own date. I'll be in San Antonio, Texas, Monday 25th at the Blind Tiger, I think. Man, I need to write these down before I come in.
The Blind Tiger. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, the Blind Tiger, the Magic Tiger. No, it's the Blind Tiger in the Magic Time Machine. The something Tiger?
What?
Yeah, there's a restaurant called the Magic Time Machine, and then in the basement they have this comedy room called the Blind Tiger. That I went last time I was there. It was really small, but it was a dope room to go into. Anyway, I'm gonna be
You
back
said it's
there.
called the Magic Time Machine?
Yeah, it's the restaurant it's
I'm
in.
looking this
Where
up.
is this?
I don't believe you.
In San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
San Antonio, there it is. Menu. Awesome. Well, I want to go.
Yeah,
The
dude.
Magic Time Machine.
The Magic Time Machine.
Go see Nyland.
Yeah. I have a show this Sunday, but I don't think this will be out in time. We're doing that sobriety show with Chris. Here at the theater.
Mhm.
And then yeah, I'm gonna write these down and come back next time because that's the only one I can remember right now.
Yeah, you have a bunch of shows.
But if you listen this far, thanks for listening. Open mic at the Pecan Theater every Tuesday at 8. Thanks, guys.